Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
All my kids are good kids.
A father loses his son, daughter-in-law, and son-in-law in an instant.
I guess last Saturday night, man, they wanted to party some more.
5 people dead after using drugs laced with fentanyl.
Fentanyl's no good, man. It's the devil. It's no good, man. Don't do it.
Tensions build in Ukraine as President Biden issues new sanctions against Russia. And we hope you enjoyed the nice weekend weather because we're now in a deep freeze.
Bitter cold conditions expected by morning, down near zero. Coming up, I'll let you know how much snow to expect.
Plus, how to make sure your home is ready for the extreme temperature drop.
We have a 65-degree day like we did yesterday, and they use the hose, and then it hits, and then they got a problem.
A lethal dose of a drug they likely had no idea they were taking.
5 people in Commerce City thought they bought cocaine for the weekend, and instead, the Adams County DA says they got that and more, including a deadly dose of fentanyl.
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne begins our coverage tonight. Russell, the DA says fentanyl is showing up more and more in cocaine and becoming a real problem in Colorado.
Yeah, that's right, Shannon. Recreational users beware. Tonight, a family is grieving, but they're also warning people about a killer in our community.
And I don't want to use it.
On the porch of his home in North Denver,
All my kids are good kids.
Dan Marquez still can't believe it.
It still really seems like it's a dream or whatever, you know, it's just not reality.
It's a heartbreaking amount of loss. Dan's son, Sam, gone, as well as his daughter-in-law, Karina, his son-in-law, and 2 of Karina's friends. All 5 died this weekend in a tragic drug overdose inside Sam and Karina's Commerce City apartment.
My wife was really worried about it, kept calling them and no answers. We all have cell phones, we all call their cell phones, no answer. My stepdaughter went in there and the door was open, she walked in. They're all laying on the floor, man.
The DA has confirmed it was fentanyl. Dan says they thought they were doing cocaine. What they got was a lethal dose of something much more powerful.
Fentanyl's no good, man. It's the devil.
No one was able to get to a phone and call 911 for a medical emergency.
It must have just took them just like that.
So it happened pretty quickly.
All 5 of them.
Dan's grown daughter, Cora, somehow survived.
It's going around here. Don't do any of that.
So did a baby, Sam and Karina's newborn daughter, Aria, found by Selena in a bedroom.
Baby wasn't crying at all. So she goes in the room and she must have heard Selena and baby started crying. So I think maybe there was an angel or somebody in there taking care of her.
A tragedy beyond words.
Sam, he's a good guy. He's 24, loved his job, always talking about his job, talking about his new daughter. He loved his daughter. Said that's the new love of my life.
So terribly sad for all of the families involved in this tragedy. Police are still investigating where those drugs came from, and today Commerce City Police and the DA here in Adams County said that they will vigorously pursue charges against anyone involved. We're live in Commerce City tonight. Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
All right, Russell. So we know Dan's daughter, the 29-year-old, did survive after taking the laced drug. So what kind of shape is she in now? And how is that little baby doing tonight?
Well, the 4-month-old Aria is at home with the grandparents, and Dan Marquez tells us that she is doing just fine this evening. And then the 29-year-old Cora, who is their grown daughter, is at North Suburban Medical Center receiving medical attention, but she is said to be recovering as well. Ann?
Oh, well, we wish them well. All right. Thank you, Russell. Appreciate that. And the National Institute on Drug Abuse says last year, 75% of cocaine overdoses were laced with fentanyl. Here in Colorado, just over 800 drug overdose deaths from last year specifically involve fentanyl. And in Colorado, it's currently a misdemeanor for someone to be in possession of 4 milligrams of fentanyl. Well, it only takes half of that amount to kill someone. And back in December, Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser said he wanted to update laws and raise penalties for drug dealers with fentanyl. He also wants to start a grant program to help agencies better investigate and prosecute fentanyl distributors. Now, Governor Jared Polis also supports these measures, and a spokesperson for the governor's office says lawmakers need to act on a comprehensive approach to address the dangers of fentanyl, including increased criminal penalties. As of tonight, no such fentanyl-related bill has been introduced in the state legislature. And listen, if you or someone you know needs help, we do have links to addiction hotlines and how to order free fentanyl testing strips. And you can find all of that information right now on thedenverchannel.com.
All right, let's switch gears here. We do hope you were able to get outside before the temperature just fell off a cliff today. So that's video from just yesterday. People outside enjoying the weather in downtown Denver, and it already feels like a distant memory. Temperatures plummeted 25 degrees in about 2 hours this afternoon in Denver. So how should you prepare for the deep freeze?
Well, we do have team coverage for you tonight to kick off what feels like will be a weather action week. Let's first get to meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, you think Denver won't get above freezing until Saturday?
Ouch.
Yep. Synchronize your watches, probably about noon on Saturday, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the record books will show on this President's Day, the high in Denver was 55, and it was almost 70 over southeastern Colorado. But the big weather story is the change coming in. It's 18 right now in Denver. Our coldest reading of the day, 6 up at Sterling. The front has just roared through Pueblo. They were in the 60s last hour. They've dropped to 39. Combine the winds, it feels on exposed skin like 16 below zero at Sterling, 12 below at Akron, and 3 above in Denver. There's that front pushing southward. The snow is coming into the western part of the state on Pacific air, milder air flowing in from the west. But what we're seeing here is a lot of advisories, wind chill advisories on the plains, winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories for the mountains until Thursday midday. There is a little snow starting to develop to the west of Denver now. You saw Russell had some snowflakes falling in the Commerce City area. A little dusting of snow falling currently in Boulder. Our headlines, Denver switches to Denver over the next several days. Periods of light snow that will pile up to several inches by the time we get to Thursday. We turn below zero by Wednesday morning, and the much heavier snow falls in the mountains. I'll have full details coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez spoke with the plumbing company getting ready for an increase in calls. Ivan is live in Denver.
And Ivan, you also spoke with a shelter expecting more people to come through their doors and get out of the cold.
And Shannon, just to sum up what Mike said, it's completely right. One word, Denver, Denver, that's all you have to say. It's really cold. You don't really want to spend too much time outside, but that's why it's even more important during days like today that everyone has a place to spend the night indoors. Also, it's a good idea for homeowners to look into protecting their home when those temperatures really begin to plummet. At Samaritan House on 48th Avenue, the shelter is preparing for a string of frigid days.
We do expect that our census will increase probably sometime this week with the temps dipping even lower.
For this location, which only serves women, there are a total of 270 beds. 190 of them have already been taken.
I do expect that it will increase. We have reached these temps before and have not seen our shelter fill. So I don't anticipate that we'll reach the full 270, but I do believe we'll get close. So maybe 250 is around what we are expecting.
For women at the shelter, having a temporary place to stay indoors during the cold is crucial. Still, they have dreams of finding a permanent place to call home.
Still hopeful, still looking into it, not giving up. I hope a lot of the ladies here, they don't give up.
The shelter is also providing extra cold weather gear like hats, scarves, and gloves for people who need to leave during the day.
Our primary concern is for the health and well-being of our guests.
Across town at Plum Pros in Arvada, they're getting ready to receive an increase in calls.
An average day for us without the weather, we're probably doing 50 calls a day. When the weather hits and then we have problems, it could be in the hundreds. I mean, we get swamped.
Ramos says some things homeowners can do to protect their properties include opening cabinet doors to allow heat around the pipes, allowing your faucet to drip, and knowing where your water shutoff is in case your pipes end up bursting.
We just get caught off guard. We have a 65-degree day like we did yesterday, and they use the hose. They don't disconnect it or leave water exposed to the elements, and then it hits, and then they got a problem.
And we're already seeing some of that light snow begin to come down. Going into tonight, another reminder to bring in some of those outdoor plants and, of course, your pets. Live in Denver, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
All right, Ivan, thank you for that. Now to another big story tonight. We are closely monitoring the rapidly developing situation in Ukraine right now.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has now ordered troops into eastern Ukraine after formally recognizing rebel regions. Now, Putin says this is, quote, to maintain peace. The White House says President Biden will soon issue an executive order that will prohibit new U.S. investments, trades, and financing to or from those rebel regions of Ukraine. Now, as of right now, those sanctions do not apply to Russia. The U.S. is also encouraging Ukraine's president to move to the western part of his country for his own safety.
The delivery driver told me that there was a 40,000 mile mileage discrepancy, which means that I essentially could never resell this car.
A car's mileage not matching the title. Contact Denver 7 exposes more issues with cars sold through Carvana.
Are insurance companies to blame for the problem?
If it's not on Carfax, they know they can sneak it by an unsuspecting consumer.
And new signs are popping up across South Denver, hoping to send a clear message to drivers at night.
That says, "I'm easy to miss. Drivers watch for pedestrians at night." I think it's a great message